want to welcome everybody to the first camp meeting of 2025.
Ich möchte alle willkommen heißen zu dem ersten Camp-Meeting von 2025.
We're gathered here at Brenham in Germany.
Wir sind hier in Bremen in Deutschland.
And we have a weekend of 9 presentations, I believe.
Ein Wochenende mit 9 Präsentationen.
Let's open with a word of prayer. Holy God, we thank you for your goodness and your mercy towards us. As we gather together at this auspicious camp meeting, may we truly have a holy convocation. Those who are here in person desire a blessing, the blessing of fellowship, of unity, and common purpose. As we welcome you, we welcome all of our friends and neighbors across the world to join us as you teach us. In Jesus' name. Amen. Just a little bit of housekeeping. You're probably all aware that I've just returned from a camp meeting in South Africa. We knew when we were going to that venue that we were likely to have internet issues. But they turned out to be much worse than we anticipated. Of the 8 presentations that I did, only the first one was recorded via Zoom and was put online. The remaining 7 were recorded locally. And they've only just now been uploaded. But they're audio files. Only 5 of the 7 audio files have been uploaded so far. 5 audio file 7 do uploaded so far. And the remaining 2, I think their numbers, I'm going to say 5 and 7. Number 5 or 4 and 7. Cannot 4 and 7. They should be uploaded in the next couple of days. I think there may be a video upload coming soon as well. If that ends up working out, the link will be made available to you. So that means many of you won't have listened to those presentations or seen the board work. So I just want to do a quick review of some of the highlights that we looked at that camp meeting. So a question that I've received over and over again over the last few months is why I have remained neutral regarding the Sunday law study. And when I say the Sunday law study, it's not specifically one person, but the various opinions that people have subject.
Asi maopinion evanhu vakasiyana-siyana vakaidzidzisa Sunday law iyoyo.
Justification of my position.
Kujustify position yangu.
Or perhaps I should say my approach.
Kana kuti ndofana kuti approach yangu.
So what I did was I compared two Sunday law histories, the first and the last.
Zvandakaita ndezvekuti ndakafananidza maSunday law history maviri, yekutanga neyekupedzisira.
I guess most of us would understand that we've got 4 Sunday laws in our history.
Ndovimba kuti vakawanda vedu tinonzwisisa kuti tine maSunday law mana munhoroondo yedu.
Priests, Levite, Nethinims, and we'll call it the 144,000.
Ma-priests, ma-Levites, ma-Nethinims, ne-144,000.
And I compared the first and the last, the priests and the current one.
Ndakafananidza yekutanga neyekupedzisira yema-priests neyatinayo nhasi.
We looked at 2 Sunday laws.
Takatarisa maSunday law maviri.
I've put 2024.
Ndaisa 2024.
That doesn't mean I'm suggesting that the Sunday law was in 2024.
Hazvirevi kuti ndiri kusuggesta kuti Sunday law yanga iriko muna 2024.
And the discussion in that first waymark
nhaurirano yanga iri mumuwaymark rekutanga iroro
is actually 2012 to 2024.
Inobata makore 2012
14, sorry.
2012 kusvika 2014.
All right, 12 to 14. So I laid out a dynamic of that first history.
Saka ndakataura pachena dynamic raivamo munhoroondo
Of an
yekutanga
angel,
yengirozi,
a message from a member,
yakabva kune member,
and I'll call it the movement,
ndodaidza imwe yacho ndoti movement,
and that's the general membership.
ndiyo membership iri general.
So once we set up that dynamic,
Tagadzisa dynamic iroro,
we're then going to compare and contrast it with our own history.
takazozvifananidza nekusiyanisa nenhoroondo yeduwo.
If we just call that 1, 2, 3.
Tikangozvidaidza chiti 1, 2, 3.
Of course, the whole purpose of doing this
Purpose yekuzviita
is to understand what's happening today.
Tikanzwisisa kuti chii chichiitika
So
nhasi.
that 1, 2, 3 would line up for us.
1, 2 ne-3 inoline up nesu.
With an angel,
Nengirozi,
a message, and the movement.
Ne-movement.
Any questions on that?
Pane ane mubvunzo pamusoro pazvo here?
So we understand why I would approach it that way.
Munonzwisisa here kuti nemhaka yei ndaizviapproacha nenzira iyoyo?
Does it make a difference? Does it make a difference that this person who's given this message is an elder?
Zvine musiyano here kuti munhu apa message iyi anenge ari elder?
You said elder. Does it make a difference if they're an elder?
Zvine musiyano here kana ari elder?
I'll just go with elder.
Ndichangodaidza kuti elder.
So I'll go back to 2014.
Todzokera una 2014 kana kuti na 2012.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Is that person an angel or a member?
Munhu yanenge ari ngirozi here kana member?
You've answered your own question. Okay.
Wapindura mubvunzo wako.
So she's answered her own question.
Saka apindura mubvunzo wake.
"2014 history, number 2.
nhoroondo ya2014
Blessing, is this
wechinumber 2
person a member or an angel?
blessing munhu uyu imemba here kana kuti ingirozi?
Yes. Okay, so are we all clear that number 2 is a member?
Saka zvakajeka here kuti wechi2 imember.
So we're okay with that?
Saka zvakanaka kaizvi.
I'm not in charge, I have no idea. 2024.
2024.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Esther, is that a member?
Esther, uyu imember here?
Yes.
Hongu.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Is that a member? Yes. So we all agree it's a member.
Here. Hongu. Saka tesi totenderana kuti imember.
So when it comes to organization,
saka patinouya panyaya yeorganization,
we have a structure, yes?
Tine structure, hongu.
Or we'll call it some kind of family tree. Tree. In this model, we have elders, leaders, Bible workers, and members. So depending on where you are in this structure, we know that everybody has a different place. So an elder is above a member. We all agree with that? Yes? They tell the members what to do. Do we agree with that? Of course that's not true. Because they're supposed to serve the members, not boss them around. Okay, so when it comes to study, what's our structure look like for that? So organizationally, the structure is a hierarchy. So we'll call it a pyramid structure. Structure pyramid. Because I can't spell hierarchy. So, for study, what's our structure? Is okay. So we have a structure. You said something else? Everyone's at the same level. So we call that horizontal. So elders and members are at the same level, which means there's no such thing as an elder. Everyone's the same. So according to Daniel 12, we'd use the word wise, depending on what passage you want to go to. We currently now call ourselves priests. So to answer the question, there's no difference between 2014, 2024. That number 2 in the first one was just a member, and the number 2 is an elder. That's one point. Being an elder does confer certain privileges. There's no denying that. And I just want to make one more comment. I just had number 2 here. Message and a member. And everybody seems to think there's only one message here. Or one messenger. And that's certainly not the case. So this does not just apply to a singular or to an individual. Curtis.
Curtis.
You need to do it to me. Go into this section. So an angel is related to a message or a study, yes?
Saka angel ine ukama ne message kana kuti nechidzidzo.
Is there a hierarchy between angels who have a message and a regular member?
Pane hierarchy ere pakati peangelosi inopa message nemember iri regular?
Is that your question?
Ndo mubvunzo wako.
Part of it?
Ipart yemubvunzo wako.
Oh, you already know the answer?
Tinotoziva mhinduro nechekare.
Okay. So yes or no first.
Saka hongu kana kwete.
So Curtis said angel and a member.
Curtis ati pane ngerozi nemember.
Yeah. I'll just ask one more question. Is there a qualitative difference?
Pane musiyano pa nyaya quality ere.
And what that means is the quality of their message better than the quality of the message of a member?
Bvunzo ndokuti quality yemessage yengerozi iyi nequality yemessage yemember zvakasiyana here.
So it's not better quality.
Saka hapana quality iri nani.
Right? So if it's not better quality,
saka naisiri quality iri nani.
What's the hierarchy based upon?
Hierarchy yacho inenge ichiita maererano nei.
So you said that the angel has a gatekeeping role.
Watingirozi ine basa rekuchengetedza mumasuo.
So the angel controls their own message.
Saka ngirozi inocontrola message yayo yega.
Which gets dangerous.
Zvinobva zvaita dangerous.
So I'll come back to my question. Is there a qualitative difference?
Todzokera kumubvunzo wangu. Pane musiyano wequality here.
Because if there isn't, what's the hierarchy based upon?
Kana pasina saka hierarchy yacho iri maererano nei.
Let's not talk about their own message.
Let's not talk
about gatekeepers. I'm asking, is there a difference between the message that comes from an angel and a message that comes from a member?
And you've
currently said no. So Curtis has brought the idea of put that aside.
Curtis sounds I want
to ask the members here if they view a message that comes from an angel of a higher standing, which means it's of a higher quality than a message from a member.
Kana achona message yemember ne-angel, ye-angel inequality iri pamusoro than ye-member. Andreas.
Members don't have any messages.
Member havana ma-messages.
Only angels have messages.
So
in 2014,
saka muna 2014,
you don't agree with that historical perspective here.
Hautenderani nemuono wehistory uyu urapa.
Because the Sunday law message
nekuti message yeSunday law
was in the hands of a member.
Yanga iri mumaoko
not in the hands of an angel.
Kwete mumaoko engerozi.
So you know your statement isn't factually correct.
So anoziva kuti pama facts statement yako haisi correct.
So you must have meant something else.
saka unofanira kwanga uchireva zvimwe
because you know that history.
nekuti nhoroondo iyoyo unoiziva.
That number 2 is not an angel.
Number 2 haizi ngirozi.
In 2012 or 14.
Muna 2012 kana muna 14.
I just want to give Andreas a chance to.
Tongopa Andreas mukana.
Okay, so in model number 1, number 2, you're saying that was an angel, not a member.
Saka munumber 2 kuti yanga iri ngirozi kwete member.
So then I'm going to ask, how do you define what an angel is?
Saka ndova ndabvunza kuti ko angel unoidefine kuti
how do they receive that accolade, that title?
Vanowana sei title yekunzi ngirozi.
Can't be self-proclamation.
Havagoni kuzviproclaima vega pachezvavo.
So 2012, this member stands up, gives a message.
Saka 2012, member inosumuka yopa message.
And properly gets kicked out of the movement.
Yotodzingwa movement.
So how can someone kick out an angel?
Saka munhu anodzinga sei ngirozi.
Because the angel is the leader of the movement.
Nekuti ngirozi ndiye mutungamiriri wemovement.
So if the angel sort of moves to one place, the movement moves with them.
Saka ngirozi ikamuvha kuenda kune imwe nzvimbo inobva movement inomuvha nengirozi iyoyo. Curtis.
Natalie?
Tamina.
Okay, so we're going back to the question of the quality of the message between an angel and a member, and Tamina says there's no difference.
Tadzokera pamubvunzo kuti quality yemessage yemember nengirozi. Tamina ati hapana musiyano.
So Tamina says the member became an angel, so there's no difference.
Tamina ati member yakazovawo ngirozi, saka hapana musiyano.
When the person became an angel,
saka munhu paakazova ngirozi,
their messages now
message yavo izvezvi
of a higher quality than a regular member's message.
inenge yava yequality iri nani here than yemember ingori regular.
The answer is yes.
Mhinduro ndeyekuti hongu.
If someone stands up and gives some different message to an elder Tess,
kana munhu akasumuka akapa message yakasiyana neelder
Tess, that Acts 27 stuff is rubbish.
Ongoti Acts 27 yaya marara.
They can prove it.
Obva agona kuzviprova.
You're going to believe them.
Munongovatenda.
All the people who said they're equal, you put your hands up now, you're going to believe that person.
Vanhu vese vati vakaenzana, simudzai maoko enyu, muchatenda munhu iyeye here.
Put your hands up.
Sunzai maoko.
You going to put your hands up?
Chasunza maoko here.
You going to put your hands up or not?
Muchasimudza here kana kuti kwete maoko aya.
Oh, that person here was a nobody and they suddenly got kicked out of the movement. They were not accepted.
Munhu yanga ari nobody akadzingwa movement haana kugamuchirwa.
And this is the trap that the people at the previous camp meeting got stuck into. Got stuck in.
Vanhu vanga vari kucamp meeting yekumashure vakaramba vakanamira pairi.
When you start following members
Paunotanga kutevedza mamemba
and start rejecting angels,
wotanga kuramba ngirozi,
the dynamic of your organization, your church, changes fundamentally.
Dynamic reorganization yenyu kana kereke yenyu rinochinja zvachose.
Esther, you're not agreeing with me, but you're the one who said they're the same.
Iwe Esther wakubvumirana neni asi ndiwe wati vakafanana.
Let's not be theoretical. Let's real. Who's going to say a messenger, so a member, going to do a study, and you're going to believe them over an angel?
Ndiana chati member yaita chidzidzo iwewo mutenda pachinhu chekutenda ngirozi.
Because if that's the case,
nekuti kana iriyo nyaya yacho,
answer this question.
Pindura mubvunzo unotevera uyu.
What is an angel?
Ngirozi chii?
So you answer that one, Natalie. Tell me what an angel is.
Natalie, chindiudza mumhinduro
When
kuti
a member
ngirozi chii?
can have a better message than them.
Kana member ichigona kuva nemessage iri nani than ngirozi iyi.
Natalie said that in these two histories, number 2 is not an angel. We've stated that as a fact.
Natalie ati munhoroondo mbiri idzi number 2 haizi ngirozi, izvi tazvitaura sefact.
And your question is what?
Mubvunzo wako ndewekuti kudii?
The whole point of doing this is to try to understand our history by using a previous history.
Donzvo rekuita zvese izvi kuzama kunzwisisa nhoroondo yedu tichishandisa nhoroondo nechekumashure.
Otherwise there's no point in doing this.
Otherwise hapana point yekuzviita.
So hopefully I've answered that question, why we're doing this.
Wapindura mubvunzo wekuti tikuzviitirei.
But my question was,
asi mubvunzo wangu wanga uri wekuti
you've said the study of a member v the study of an angel is the same.
Wati chidzidzo chememba nechengirozi zvakafanana.
I'm 100% sure you said that.
Ndine 100% ndichiziva kuti wazvitaura izvi.
Qualitative means quality.
Qualitative zvinoreva kuti panhau yequality.
Qualitative means the quality of the message.
Paqualitative tongoreva kuti quality yemessage yacho.
It wasn't for that. It's fine if you didn't understand the question, but a fair few of you put your hand up when I said, are they the same? And you said yes, as did many others.
Kana usina kunzwisisa mubvunzo zvakanaka asi vakawanda venyu vati vakafanana patavhunza mubvunzo iwoyo.
Keep on pointing to the board like that's going to do something.
Vamwe vari kunongedzera board sekunge rinogona kuita chimwe chinhu.
They're both members.
Vari vaviri mamemba.
And my question is,
mubvunzo wangu ndewekuti
when a member stands up against an angel, who wins?
Member painosumuka yakamisidzana nengirozi ndiani anowina?
Okay. We did not all say the angel. The majority here said it wasn't an angel. They were the same.
Vanhu vakawanda vanga vati yaisiri ngirozi vati zvazvakafanana.
Okay. So now we're hopefully all on the same page.
I hope tapa page yakafanana.
We had the same discussion in the last camp meeting.
Kucamp meeting yapfuura takava nenhaurirano yakafanana.
And most people who participated said, we're as good as angels.
Vanhu vakawanda vaiparticipata vakangoti tese tingori
we can think for ourselves.
Togona kuzvifungira tega.
And I want to show you that you can't think for yourselves and you're not as good as angels.
Ndinoda kuratidza kuti hamugoni kuzvifungira ende hamusi as good as ngirozi.
Gal.
Yeah.
Israel, they say we are all saints. Like, are you?
So these are the 3 leaders and I think the 250 princes.
Pane vatungamiri vatatu vataurwa.
Who say that they're all holy and who made Moses ruler over.
Nevanhu 250 vakati tese tiri vatsvene vakaita Moses kuti ndiye ari mutsvene.
Curtis's original question was what?
Curtis, mubvunzo wake wekutanga wanga uri wekuti kudii?
So, Curtis says there's a problem here.
Curtis ati pane dambudziko apa.
Because I never put angels.
Nekuti handina kumbobvira ndaisa ngirozi.
Deliberately.
Nehoni.
Because the question was about an elder and a member.
Nekuti mubvunzo wanga uri we-elder nemember.
Oh. Our screen's frozen.
Screen yedu freeze.
Because this is a question on number 2.
Nekuti iri question pa number 2.
Okay, so hopefully we're all okay with that.
Ndinovimba kuti tese right nazvo.
Our screen's frozen. I guess you know that?
Screen yedu freezer.
Yep, okay, so look, they know. So, beyond this, beyond the conclusion that you can come to,
kumberi kwe-conclusion yaunogona kusvika pairi,
what I want us to see
zvandoda kuti tione
is how I've approached the problem.
Kuti nda-approacha dambudziko racho sei.
What do I need to do? So, if I were to give my apology and defense,
kana ndichiisa apology yangu nedefense yangu,
I want us to see what approach I took.
Ndoda kuti tione kuti ndakatora approach ipi.
Because it's not about me
Nekuti hazvisi
as an individual,
pangu se-individual.
how nice I am,
ndiri munhu akanaka
and how mean Elder Jeff was.
Kana kuti Elder Jeff vanga vari mean zvakadii.
It's not how we should approach these things.
Hakusiko kuapproacha kwatofana kuita zvinhu izvi.
Are we all okay with that?
Tese zvakanaka nesere.
To me, the only valid way to know if something is right or wrong,
kuti kwandiri chinhu chega chiri valid, nzira yega iri valid yekuziva kuti chinhu chari right kana
it's
chiri
a
wrong.
cliche, but it's using methodology.
Kushandisa methodology.
The primary one that we should use
chiri primary chatofana kushandisa
is to compare and contrast.
Kufananidza nekusiyanisa.
Yep.
Ndizvozvo.
So I wanted to discuss this.
Ndaida kuti titaurirane pamusoro
So we're all
peizvi.
clear that the answer that I'm giving is based upon methodology.
Kuti zvijeke kwatiri tese kuti mhinduro yandiri kupa iri maererano
not based upon
nemethodology.
anyone's personality
Kwete maererano nepersonality yekuti munhu uyu
or
akamira
their
sei.
rank in the
Kana
organization.
Kana kuti rank yake muorganization iri
Any
papi.
questions?
Kana ane mibvunzo here?
Natalie.
Natalie.
Elder Tess isn't here to protect her message.
Elder Tess havapo nhasi kuti vadzivirire
And Elder
message
Jeff
yavo.
isn't here to protect his message.
Elder Jeff havapo nhasi kuti vadzivirire message yavo.
The point being?
Pfungwa yako ndeyekuti kudii?
Who's going to protect Elder Jeff's message? Natalie?
Ndiani achadzivirira message yaElder Jeff? Natalie.
Who is?
Ndiani?
So the third angel protects the first angel's message.
Sangirozi yechitatu inoprotecta message yengirozi yechi. yekutanga
So
here.
any angel will protect the other angel's message.
Kana kuti imwe ngirozi inoprotecta mameseji imwe ngirozi chero ipi zvayo.
Yeah.
Ndizvozvo.
Sorry? No. The question was, who protects the third angel when they're not here to defend themselves? My question was, who protects the first angel when they're not here to protect themselves? And your answer is for the first angel? If you're going to do that, I'll just move on. I won't do it that way. Because when I respond to people, I don't debate. I respond with methodology and a sprinkling of logic. And so if you're worried about the third, Iselin, who should she be most worried about? She's worried about the third. I already gave the answer. Anyone? The first. You should be worried about the first angel's message, not the third angel's message. Because the first angel's message is at the very beginning and it carries you all the way through to the end. So who's protecting that message? The second. If the second is protecting the first, then we should have confidence. Of what? No, of what? That the second would protect the third. But you personalized it. I want to do it in the realm of angels. So you have no fear. But you do have a fear. And then you have to ask, if you want to, what's your fear based upon? Can you share it with us? So, for a start, you've used the word hijack, which, for a start of the word, you use the word hijack, which we can't accept in a Bible study forum like this. Unless it's me that's doing it. Unless it's me that's doing it. I won't let members use those words. Not in an open forum like this. So, the issue that you have is that you feel that the third angel's message is under attack by a member. So, you could just say yes or no what I just said. Okay, I don't understand that. No, I said. So, do you believe that a messenger, a member, has put the third angel's message in jeopardy or of none effect?
Unotenda here kuti kune member yaita kuti message yengirozi yetatu ive in jeopardy kana kuti ive isava neeffect.
Okay. Well, there's plenty of people who don't agree with that.
Vanhu vakawanda vasingatenderani nazvo.
But that was, I hope, has your question been answered?
Mubvunzo wako wapindurwa.
The question was, who protects the third angel? And you've said yourself, it's another angel.
Bvunzo wakwanga uri kuti ndiani anoprotecta ngirozi yetatu, iwo mhinduro ikanzi imwe ngirozi.
Okay.
All right.
Any other points? Anyone? Andreas.
Ane dzimwe pfungwa here? Andreas.
But sorry, I didn't understand your question. We're in 2014 and your question is?
Tiri muna 2014, mhinduro yako mvunzo wako ndewekuti kudii?
Yes.
Hongu.
I don't know if you were here in the 12 to 14 period.
Handizivi kana waivapo panguva ya2012 kusvika 15.
I don't remember anybody being called a second angel back then.
Handizivi kana paine munhu aidaidzwa achinzi second angel ipapo.
That person wasn't, for sure.
Munhu uyu haanambonzi second angel, ndo zviro kwazvo.
Okay, so it wasn't recognized, but it was like it was a real angel, but nobody recognized.
Saka hanzi yanga iri ngirozi yemazviro kwazvo asi hapana akanga agona kuzviona kana kuzviziva.
Okay, so if you don't recognize an angel, what do you have to assume? That they're not an angel?
Saka kana usingagoni kuona kuti iyi ingirozi, tinofanira kuasuma kuti chii? Tinoasuma kuti haizi ngirozi.
Agree? In hindsight, you can see that you're wrong.
Takucheuka mumashure togona kuzviona kuti hata tiri wrong.
But in real time,
asi real time,
you can't be wrong, can you?
Haufaniri kunge uri wrong. Haungave uri wrong.
Can't be wrong if you don't know.
Haungave uri wrong kana usingazivi.
Say that again.
Taura zvakare.
I'm not the only person who's defining it. We should all be able to define what angels are. They're people who have a message.
Handisi ndega ndinodefina kuti ngirozi chii, tinofanira kunge tichigona kudefina tese. Ngirozi vanhu vane message.
They have all the characteristics given to us in Revelation 14.
Vane macharacteristics ese atinopiwa muna Revelation 14.
And in real time,
real time,
how do you know if that person is an angel or not?
Unoziva sei kuti munhu uyu ingirozi here kana kuti kwete?
That you can't. That's the point I want us to see.
Haugoni kuziva, ndofungwa yandoda kuti tese tione.
So at that time, the person may or may not have been an angel.
Panguva iyoyo munhu anogona kunge ari ngirozi kana kuti asiri.
If you go with the 2012 date,
tikatora date ra2012,
I think it's nearly 6 or 7 years afterwards that it's recognized.
Ndofunga zvinotozozikamwa makore 6 kana 7 zvapfuura munhu uyu
Which is a long time afterwards.
Inova nguva yakareba tapfuura.
Yes, it's about people's perception of the quality of that message.
Inyaya yekuti vanhu vanofunga sei panyaya yequality yemessage iyoyo.
When I asked the following question,
pandakabvunza mubvunzo unotevera,
if you're in that history, who would you have believed?
Funa uri munhoroondo iyoyo ndiani wawaitenda?
Number 1 or number 2?
Wekutanga kana wechipiri?
At last camp meeting, almost everybody said they'd believe number 2.
Meeting yapfuura vanhu vese vanenge vakati ndaitenda wechipiri.
Because they said, we know that was the truth.
Nekuti vakati toziva kuti ndoinge iri chokwadi.
And I tried to show them the fallacy of that position.
Ndikazama kuvaratidza fallacy yekuve neposition iyoyo.
You can't follow number 2.
Haugoni kutevera wechipiri.
Can you? In 2012-14 history, you can't follow that member.
History ya 2012 na 14 haugoni kufollowa member iyoyo.
You're obliged to follow the angel.
Unotosungirwa kuti utevere ngirozi.
Otherwise, you're in rebellion, aren't you?
Otherwise unenge uri mu rebellion.
Yeah, we all agree with that.
Tese totenderana nazvo here?
Agree with that, Blessing?
Notenderana nazvo here, Blessing?
Go ahead.
Endera mberi.
So somewhere here,
Saka necheapa
Elder Tess said that the movement failed in the history of 2012 to 14.
Elder Tess vakati movement yakafoira munhoroondo ya2012 kusvika 14.
Would it upset people or confuse them if I call that the formalization and the close?
Zvinoconfuse here kana ndikanyora apa kuti formalization apa ndoti closed door.
Shut door.
Kana kuti shut door.
Hopefully that doesn't confuse anybody.
I hope hazviti confusing.
So Elder Tess said the movement failed then. Carry on.
Elder Tess hanzi vakati movement yakafoira ipapo.
So break that down slowly. How was it a failure on whose part? So how was it a failure on the part of the members?
Failure say part yema-members.
I'm just going to call it in 2014.
Ndichangozvidaidza ndichiti mugore ra2014.
Why the members failed?
Sei ma-members vakafoira.
Okay, so I think I'm vaguely familiar with what you've said.
Ndofunga kuti handichanyatsorangarira zvinhu zvawabva kutaura.
Question.
Mubvunzo.
2014.
2014.
How or why?
Zvakagoneka sei kana kuti zvakaitikirei.
I'm going to call it number 3.
Kuti number 3.
The movement.
Movement.
How or why did the movement fail?
Yakafoira nemhaka yei kana kuti yakafoira sei. Ndomubvunzo wokutanga.
Carry on.
Endera
mberi. Is that it?
Kana ndizvozvo.
Okay. So does everybody understand what's going on here? 1 second, Curtis.
Munhu wese ari kunzwisisa zviri kuitika panapa here?
I think that's accurate to the history of what Elder Tess spoke of.
Ndofunga kuti zviri accurate kunhoroondo yezvakataurwa naElder Tess.
So if I were to ask you your own question,
kana ndikakubvunza mubvunzo wako iwe pachezvako,
do you believe the movement failed?
Unotenda kuti movement
yakafoira
here?
Movement as number 3.
Tichadefine movement kuti ndiyo number 3.
So in 2014, you listened to the angel.
So muna 2014 wakateerera ngirozi.
As a general member.
Uri member ingori
Got
general.
that correct?
Ndo zviri correct izvozvo.
Oh, okay. Sorry. You've obeyed Elder Tess's statement of that history.
Wateerera kutaura kwaElder Tess kwenhoroondo iyoyo.
And you said, I've accepted it, but I didn't understand.
Ukati ndakazvigamuchira asi handina kunzwisisa.
Is that just a shorthand version of saying I disagree with her?
Kungotaura here nedzimwe nzira kuti ndinorambirana navo.
Okay, so we'll say that.
All right, saka tichataura tichidaro.
So you don't agree with what she said?
Saka unorambirana nezvavakataura.
So the question was,
saka mubvunzo ndewekuti,
did number 3 fail?
Number 3 yakafoira here?
You're saying they didn't.
Uri kuti havana.
So you said, how is it possible for the general membership to see things any differently?
Saka uri kuti zvinogonekeka sei kuti ma-members vaone zvinhu zvakasiyana?
She's a shorthand version of saying you disagree with her.
Zviri kungoreva kuti uri kurambirana navo.
Okay.
All right.
Anyone else?
Pane mumwe here zvakare?
Yeah, no, it's fine. I just want to give other people an opportunity, which they won't take. Go ahead, Curtis.
Taura, Curtis.
So add to what Blessing said.
Kuwedzera kune zvataurwa naBlessing.
So 2012 is Moses striking the rock.
2012 ndiMoses ari kurova dombo.
Okay. So Moses striking the rock is a failure of number 1,
Moses
which is the
achirova
angel.
dombo kufoira kwenumber 1 inova ngirozi.
Not of number 3, the congregation.
Kwete number 3 inova iyo congregation.
Yep.
Izvozvo.
Okay, so just give me 1 second. So we're in the year 2012.
Tiri mugore ra 2012.
And this is Elder Tess.
Elder Tess avo.
And this is Moses.
Uyu ndiMoses.
Striking the rock.
Ari kurova dombo.
And that's a failure
kufoira
on his part.
Moses.
And it cost him his life, that did, didn't it?
Izvi zvakatoita kuti upenyu hwavo hugopera.
Not of the congregation.
Kwete kufoira kwechaunga.
Okay. If that's the case,
kana iriyo nyaya yacho,
why would she blame the congregation?
Sei vaipomera mhosva congregation.
Okay, so Curtis says he's not clear that she did.
Curtis ari kuti hazvina nyatsomuchekera kuti vakadaro.
But he wanted to remind us of that story.
Asi akada kutirangaridza kunyaya iyi.
That application.
Kana kuti application iyi.
Andreas. If we're supposed to listen to the angel,
and
in this history of 14 it was the first,
muhistory ya 14 yanga iri ngirozi yekutanga.
So I think the question is, how did this member dare to stand in rebellion to the angel?
Yakagona kusumuka sei ichimukira ngirozi.
That's the question.
Yeah?
How dare a member stand up in rebellion to an angel?
Member inogosumuka sei ichiribela ku ngirozi.
So again, I know we all haven't watched it, but we discussed that question also at the last camp meeting.
And I want
to answer the question this way. You have an angel, and they have a responsibility. If they don't do their job, they get into trouble like Moses did. Okay, so they have one job function in 2 parts. One of them is that they have, we'll just call it a message or a mission. Hope we can conceptualize that. And connected to that, their role in life is to protect the flock. Congregation. So that's their job function. And then number 3, the flock, the congregation, the general membership.
Flock kana congregation kana uti members.
What's their job function? To obey the angel. That's all they're allowed to do. You can find various models in the inspiration.
tinogona kuona mamodels akasiyana-siyana muinspiration.
If the angel's an under shepherd,
kana angel iri under shepherd,
the flock know the voice of the shepherd and follow the shepherd wherever the shepherd takes them.
hwai dzinoziva zwi remufudzi ende dzinotevera mufudzi kwese kwanodziendesa. Zviri right here so far?
So the question was it, whose question was it? Andreas' question. Now it comes to number 2, this member.
Wodzoka kunumber 2, member.
What's their responsibility? What's their job function, their role?
Responsibility yavo kana job function
we'll go
yavo
with their responsibility.
Totora kuti responsibility.
We've worked out the responsibility of an angel, of the general membership.
Taona kuti responsibility yengirosi ne-general membership ndeipi?
They're in bed with one another.
Vari kurara pamwe chete.
Number 1 and 3.
Number 1 ne number 3.
The angel and the general membership.
Ngirozi ne-ma-members.
What's the responsibility of the individual?
Responsibility yemunhu ari individual ndeipi?
Anybody?
Pane mumwe here?
Number 2, the individual member.
Member, number 2.
Remember, everything that's got layers.
Remember, rangarirai zvinhu zvese malayer akasiyana.
On one level, number 2 is part of number 3, remember?
Pamwe pacho number 2 ipati yenumber 3.
But we've separated them.
Asi tambozvipatsanura.
So when you take that person on their own, what's their responsibility?
Saka paunotora munhu ari pache zvake, responsibility yake ndeipi?
Who was that? Who?
Ndiana Tara.
Okay, so their responsibility as an individual
responsibility yavo ari individual
is to be critical about the message and to understand it.
Kuve critical pamusoro pemessage uye kuinzwisisa.
What else?
Pane mumwe zvakare here?
Curtis? So to understand the message and to build upon it.
Saka kunzwisisa message nekuivaka.
Blessing? Maybe we. So it isn't about that they're standing in rebellion per se.
Haisi nyaya yekuti vari kurebella.
That happens later.
Zvinozoitika kumberi.
What's their overall, their general responsibility?
Responsibility iri general yavo ndeipi?
If you're not sure, then follow through with your thought.
Kana usinganyatsi kuziva, then
seen as they're in rebellion, you said?
Vanoonekwa kunge vari murebellion.
They have to justify their position.
Saka vanofana kujustify
Okay,
position
so
yavo.
let's walk through this together.
Saka ngatifambei nazvo.
Once they're in rebellion, an effect happens. They have to do something.
Paita rebellion. Pane
How did they
effect kana
get in
chinhu chinofana
rebellion?
kuitika. Vakapinda sei murebellion?
They examined the message.
Vanoongorora message.
And they said what?
Vobva vati kudii?
When they examined it.
Pavanoiongorora.
They said the message is not correct.
Vanoti message iyi haisi
The message of the
yemazvirokwazvo.
angel.
Message yengirozi iyi.
So they're going to fight against that message.
So vanotanga kurwa nemessage yengirozi iyi.
Come up with their own message.
Vouya nemessage yavo
And
vega.
now they're in rebellion.
Vobva vanzi vamurebellion.
How it goes?
Ndizvo zvinoitika
So my
here.
question to everybody
Saka mubvunzo wangu kumunhu wese.
is that their responsibility? Because that was my question.
Ibasa ravo here iyi. Because ndo wanga uri mubvunzo wangu.
Is that their responsibility?
Responsibility yavo here.
Blessing said yes.
Blessing ati hongu.
Almost. Didn't say it's their responsibility. Said that's just what happened.
Ati ndo zvinongoitika.
So I haven't asked them about the legality of that.
Anofunza nezvekuti zviri legal here kana kwete.
Is it legal for individual members
Zvinobvumidzwa here kuti mamembers vari
We were
ma-individuals.
told to critically examine the message.
Takaudzwa kunzi tizamane chemeseji zviri critical.
So what's the point of critically examining the message?
Saka point yekuzoexamana message zviri
If you're not going to
critical
take the next step,
kana usingazotori danho
which
rechipiri
is
rinova
rebellion. If you don't
rebellion
like the message.
kana usingafariri message.
Okay, so Curtis said their job.
Curtis ati basa ravo.
I used a software before, their responsibility.
Responsibility yavo.
So the problem in this dynamic, this relationship between these three elements,
dambudziko mudynamic iri mukama uripo pakati pema-elements
is
matatu
collectively
zvakabatanidzwa
required to obey.
Unosungirwa kuti uteerere muri mese pamwe chete.
But individually,
asi uri mu-individual, uri munhu,
you're required to prove all things,
unosungirwa kuti uprove zvinhu zvese,
hold fast that which is true.
wobatirira kune zvinhu zvazvokwadi.
Or as Martin Luther said,
kana kuti sezvakataurwa naMartin Luther akati kuti,
we'll go with sola scriptura, which is okay.
akati sola scriptura zvinova zvinhu zvakanaka.
And so what did they tell him to do? And what does he say to them?
Akaudzwa kunzi aite sei, iye akavapindura kuti kudii.
When the first angel says, just bow.
Ngirozi yekutanga painoti pfugama.
He says, I can't.
Yakati handigoni.
Because he says it's dangerous
Akati zviri
for an
dangerous
individual
kuti munhu ari
to
individual
go against their conscience.
apikisane neconscience yake.
We could do a study on what the conscience is.
Togona kuita chidzidzo kuti conscience
But the
chii.
responsibility of that one person, that member, is not to go against their conscience.
Asi responsibility yemember iyi yemunhu uyu hakuzi kupikisana neconscience yake.
And if you think this relationship between these three elements is strange,
Kana muchifunga kuti ukama huri pakati pema-elements matatu aya huri
then
strange,
you don't understand the glory of the United States.
then haunzwisisi glory ye-United
The
States.
tension that it has to deal with.
Makakatano ainofana kudhila nawo.
And what is that tension that it has to deal with? Because it has those three elements.
Makakatano anofana kudhila nayo ndi api nekuti ine
Who's the
ma-elements
angel?
matatu aya. Ngirozi ndiani?
The president, the
The
executive
president,
branch,
executive
federal
branch.
government, three things.
Federal government. Zvinhu zvitatu.
Number three is the whole country, the people.
Number 3 ndiyo vanhu
Number
vese,
two,
nyika yese. Number 2
you could argue with the states or the individual.
unogona kuita argument yekuti ndo
And it's the
ma-states kana kuti
tension between
individual.
my rights
Ndo makakatano ari pakati
and the
pema-rights
rights of the
angu
whole country, the
nema-rights
population.
enyika yese kana
That
population
tension that
yacho
lies
yese.
between groupthink and individual freedom.
Makakatano aripo pakuti tofunga seboka here uye
So I want us
ma-freedoms
to
emunhu
see
ari
that
individual. Ndoda kuti tizvione
this
izvi
tension exists.
kuti makakatano aya aripo,
It's required to be there.
anotosungirwa kuti ange
And
aripo
every once in a while, it causes
kazhinji pamwe
problems
neapo zvinokonzeresa
when that
matambudziko.
member
Kana member
and the
iyi
angel
nengirozi
butt horns with one another.
vachirwisanisana pamwe chete.
But number three,
Asi wechitatu
I contend that their only obligation is to follow the angel, not the member.
ndakataura kuti obligation yavo ndeyekutevera ngirozi kwete member.
Responsibility of the general membership is to follow the angel, not the member.
Responsibility yema-members vese ndeyekutevedzera ngirozi kwete member.
If you agree with that,
Kana uchitenderana nazvo,
then this question that Blessing asked here
saka mubvunzo wabvunzwa naBlessing apa
says that the general membership did not fail in the 2014 history.
Unoti mamembers haana kufoira munhoroondo ya2014.
It was the angel that failed,
Ingirozi yakafoira,
not the membership.
kwete mamembers.
And if we were to take this model that Elder Tess gave us,
Kana tiri kuzotora model iyi yatakapiwa naElder Tess,
she clearly speaks here of the angel failing.
vakataura zviri pachena kuti ngirozi
And if
yakafoira.
that's the case,
Kana zvirizvo,
then maybe we could give her the leeway or the license
saka togona kuvapa license kana
when she
leeway.
said here,
Pavanoti panapo
the movement, maybe she meant the leadership.
pamwe vaireva leadership.
Those who were in charge, who were leading the movement.
Avo vaiva in charge kana kuti vaitungamirira movement.
Maybe we could do that.
Pamwe togona kudaro.
Otherwise, I want us to see.
Ndoda kuti tione.
So I'm saying I agree with Blessing.
Sanduti ndiri kubvumirana nezvataura naBlessing.
I can't work a model here
Handigoni kugadzira model apa.
in the 2014 history where the members fail.
Munhoroondo ya2014 apo mamembers vakafoira.
Either the message was kept hidden,
Either message yakaramba yakavanzwa kubva kwavari,
or if they knew about it,
kana kuti kana vaiziva nezvayo,
angel
vaifana
duty to do that.
kutevera ngirozi irresponsibility
As
yavo
much as it
kuzviita.
is the duty of that individual member to fight against the angel.
As much as riri basa remember kuti irwisanisane nengirozi.
Any questions on 14?
Pana nemibvunzo iri pa14.
Members, I'm saying in 2014, members, like sheep, don't have a functioning brain.
Na 2014 seship havana brain inoshanda.
Their only job is to obey.
Basa ravo rega nderekuteerera.
We'll go with 2014 first.
Totanga na 2014.
Do you agree with that?
Notenderana nazvo here?
So now you're bringing in the subject of equality.
Wakuunza subject yekuenzana.
There was equality then.
Kwakuine kuenzana ipapo.
Like today,
Sanasi
isn't practiced very well.
haisi kupracticewawo zvakanaka.
We might have improved.
Pamwe togononge takaimprovawo.
It's only an incremental improvement.
Asi kungoimprovawo.
We had equality then.
Kushoma. Asi papo kwakuine kuenzana.
My question is, do you agree that their only obligation is to follow the angel in 2014?
Mubvunzo wangu ndewekuti unotenderana here kuti basa ravo roga ravaifana kuita kutevedzera ngirozi na 2014.
Because what you can't do is jump to 24.
Nekuti zvausingagoni kuita kujambawo kwakuenda kuna 2024 unenge watotyora mutemo.
That's why we use methodology.
Ndosaka tichishandisa methodology.
I want us to be clear.
Ndoda kuti zvijeke.
Hopefully we are.
I hope zvajeka.
The reason we do this, compare and contrast,
Mhaka yatinoita kufananidza nekusiyanisa uku
is based upon one premise.
zviri maererano nepremise imwe chete.
Maybe more than one, but what is the premise that it's based upon?
Akawanda. Premise yairi based by nayo ndeipi?
Curtis?
Curtis.
The thing that you want to analyze, you don't know.
Chinhu chauda kutoongorora hausati wakuchisiva. All right.
So it's based upon the premise. If you're looking at something and you don't know,
zviri maererano nekuti kana wakatarisa chimwe chinhu chausiri
you go
kuziva,
to a model that you do know the answer to.
unoenda kune model yaunoziva mhinduro yacho.
And the one that you go to,
yaunoenda kwairi iyi,
if you're good,
kana
you choose a story
unosarudza nyaya
that has all the same properties as the story that you don't know the answer to.
Ine ma-properties ese senge akafanana nenyaya yausiri
Unless you
kuziva
do
maproperty
that,
ayo. Kunze kwokuti waita
you're
izvozvo,
always going to struggle to know whether or not your conclusions are right or wrong.
uchazotambura iwewe kuziva kuti maconclusions ako ndiwo here kana kuti haasi.
We can't look at our current history and think that we know things.
Hatigoni kutarisa munhoroondo yatiri kurarama mairi tofunga kuti hatinoziva zvinhu
And we
izvi.
can't go to 40 and say we don't like that version, so we don't want to apply it now.
Hatingaendi ku14 toti haitifariri saka hatisi kuda kuiaplya isusu nhasi.
Are we all okay with that?
Izvi zvakanaka here?
That we would rigidly stick to that principle.
Kuti ticharamba takanamira zviri rigid kuprinciple iyoyo.
Even if you don't like the answer.
Kunyange usingafariri mhinduro yacho.
Natalie?
Natalie.
We're comparing and contrasting.
Tiri kufananidza nekusiyanisa.
And as soon as you say it's different,
paunongobva wati zvakasiyana,
then you need to throw this all away.
Then unotofanira kuchikandira kure ichi.
I'm saying we have equality. I don't know what equality has to do with this, but we did have it.
Handizivi kuti equality nechii nechekuita neizvi, but taiva nayo.
You said today, individual members have a right to rebel.
Members vari individual vane right yekurebel. Izvozvo notenderana here?
I'm saying go to 2014.
Ndiri kuti enda kuna 2014.
And it's your obligation, your duty to rebel.
Ibasa rako rekuti uite rebel.
You're required to do that.
Unotosungirwa kuti urebel.
I can't be the individual. Can't be clearer than that, I don't think. So if you rebel then, you rebel now. Maybe it doesn't end up with rebellion. But you follow your conscience. And you don't listen to anybody. As the individual. So congregation, you're not allowed to do that. And if you're asking, well, I'm confused now. Good. Because it's what real life is all about. The rights of the individual compared to the rights of the group.
Rights individual tichimafananidza nema-rights eboka.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Yep. So our time is ended.
Nguva yedu yapera.
We have how long a break? So we'll get back together at 10:30 local time.
Tichasangana 15
minute break.
We break there 15 minutes.
Let's pray.
Ngatinamate.
Dear Lord, we thank you
that
we have the privilege of being able to talk openly and frankly with one another and with you. That you allow us, even despite our ignorance and our mortality, to question your wisdom and your immortality. Thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.